Yassine, what is happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a little bit of a different video. So I've just been for a nice easy 9k and I was listening to a podcast, Nick Bare podcast, right the way around it. And I want to just expand on some of the points that I've journaled on. And again, I don't know if this is selfishly for me or this is going to benefit anyone, but I think it's just good I like to speak openly. And as I said, me trying to portray this through a short video on YouTube, Instagram just doesn't work. So I've wrote it down in my very bougie, expensive notepad. Long story. But yeah, I wrote some stuff down in here that I've been thinking about today because I had one of them days today where I woke up and I was a little bit like on edge, a little bit anxious, a little bit what's going on. And I think it's because when if I think you can swing quite far the other way in terms of when you focus on personal development. So what my job is to basically, obviously, help people get to where they want to get to. But what I do in my life is constantly think about progression, whether that's how I look, how I feel, what I eat, doing content, doing coaching, growing a business, being the best dad, whatever it is, all this sort of stuff is constantly personal development. And I think sometimes you can get sucked in so much into overthinking personal development, where you start to go into the realm of comparison and not good enough and is it worth it and this and that. So I just wanted to expand on some points and hopefully you take something from this. If you don't, thank you for listening. But the first point that I wanted to say, and I spoke about this last week actually, and I've been thinking about this point a lot recently, is what's right for you might not be right for everyone else. So Abby actually pulled me on this in the sense of I'm someone who always thinks about averages. What's the average income? What's the average amount that you should spend? How much should you spend on a car? How much is the average house price? How much is this? How much is that? What's the average of that? Am I in a good ballpark based on my age? How much should you have during retirement? All that sort of stuff. And don't ask me why. I like to have like a ballpark figure to come off. But what I've been thinking about is if you constantly think about that and think about what's the average, you will be the average. So this is stemmed from the common conversation about cars. I'm getting a new car and it's quite expensive. And you know, it's expensive. This is what I mean. It's expensive, but I can afford it. Some people might look at that and go, fucking hell, it's expensive. Some people might look at that and go, it's cheap as chips. But if I was to constantly go off how the average person views it, I would never do the things that I want to do. So what I'm saying is, what's right for you is only right for you. So whether it's a car, whether it's the job, whatever it is, it's got to be right for you. Even with like social media is absolutely massive. This is social media, but comparison on social media, especially in a business world, is that you've got to be progressing, you've got to be striving, you've got to be this. And you constantly feel like if you're not doing that all of the time, you feel like you're failing. So if you're not moving forward, you feel like you're going backwards. But the thing is, we are moving forward. I'm moving forward. I'm just thinking about like, you're comparing yourself to other people in the space or in the industry or on social media or whatever. But that might be right for them. But is that going to be right for you? Who knows? Is it right to hire team members? Is it right to shoot to get that empire? Is it right to run paid ads? Is it right to charge this or charge that or whatever? Like all these different things pop up. So a big number one question is, what's right for you is right for only you, and it doesn't really matter about what anyone thinks, what the averages are, what Tom down the road's doing, what they think, whatever. If it's right for you, it's right for you. Changing your life, it's right for you. Don't care about what anyone else thinks. And this is something that I've been pondering on more and more, especially since we're having a baby. I think, and a lot of people have told me about, when you have a baby, your whole perception changes and all that just sort of disappears because the only thing that really matters is my circle. And it's quite crude, but we use this a lot with the coaches that I speak to, is that the 3 Fs. If they're not financing you, if they're not fucking you, or if they're not feeding you, fuck them. And that's literally what it comes down to. If it doesn't affect me, if it's outside the realm of my family, my friends, my clients, and the people around me, doesn't matter. So what I do is only going to be for them people. For me, what decisions I make are based on them. For everything that I do is based on them. Not for anyone who's not in that circle, not for anyone who's not in my family, not any of my clients or whatever. It doesn't even matter. This is all that really matters. So the 3 Fs, that's something you can definitely take away from this little podcasty style Q&A type thing, whatever it is. The second point, and again, this comes off the back of frustration, and it's not frustration with, it's just frustration in the sense that people don't understand their full potential, and it's take ownership. Like, you are an adult. If you're watching this, you're an adult. If you want to do something with your life, if you want to get in shape, if you want to run a marathon, if you want to run a 10K, take ownership in it. Like, you're the only person that can change that, and I'm sick and tired of people using this to say that they can't do something. Everyone's circumstances are different, but I've worked with hundreds of different people, and the people who get the result believe in themselves and they get after it. The people who make excuses and this and that, never going to get anywhere. And it's about taking ownership with what you're doing. If you're not happy with where you're currently at in your life, in how you look, in your business, in your fitness, whatever, you can change that. And I know that's really, really cliche, but you can literally change that, and I can't change it. If you stand up with me, I can't change it. I can guide you, I can tell you, I can lead you, but I can't change it. Only thing that can change it is yourself. So you're an adult, take ownership. If you want to read book, you want to get educated, take ownership. Do it. Do the things that are going to pay you back. If you want to go to the gym in the morning, get out of bed. It's really, really frustrating. And that leads me on to the next point, which is, just double check what it is. Don't be a headliner. So I've just listened to the Nick Bare podcast, as I said before, and there was one really cool part of it, which was don't be a headliner. And this leads into that sort of laziness perception of to not taking ownership. If I was to say, you've got them people is, I'm going keto because it's healthy for you, apparently. Like, that's a massive headline. Keto is good for you. This is bad for you. So you go in all in keto, but all they've done is read a headline. They've not checked any studies. They've not went into there themselves and found, research to back themselves up. They've not trialed it. They've not dipped their toe in it. All of a sudden, this is what they do because they hear the headline and they go into it. And that's what I'm saying. I will take ownership. Don't be a headliner. Like, finding out one thing, or like alkaline water is good for you, and everything else is bad for you, and then not looking into it. If you look into it a little bit more, if your pH levels are up by 0.2, 0.3, I think it is, you would die. So your body is very, very good at balancing that acidity and alkaline to make sure that your body is contrary neutral. So if you have alkaline water, it's not going to change much. So that's what I mean about that, is like, take ownership and don't be lazy with stuff. Like, don't be a headliner. And the last point, which is sort of, again, I could go on and on, to be fair, but I'm going to leave it a little bit shorter, is progression and comparison. Again, this is probably the overarching thing, is that comparison is a part of everything that we do. And I think comparison is definitely a good thing, because in order to grow, like, that you've heard that quote before, probably, like, if you put a shark in a fish tank, it'll only grow to the size of the tank. If you put a shark in the sea, it'll grow a lot bigger, and it's based on its environment. So I know that I'm very thankful for being around good people who have forced me to grow, and shown me what is possible with everything in life, in every area. What is possible to do with family, what is possible to do with investments, what is possible to do in business, what is possible to do with results, whatever it is. I'm very grateful to be around people. Whereas if you were unaware of that, you would only know what was in your circle. So comparison can be a really good thing. Comparing yourself to what people are doing, stretch your imagination, get around good people, so on and so forth. But as we know that from social media, is that that's really, really enhanced in terms of in a negative connotation. Down from comparing your body to someone else, comparing to your life, comparing to your wealth, comparing to how you look, comparing to your family, or whatever it is. Comparison is rife through social media, through Instagram, through the fitness industry massively as well. And again, Abby, she's fucking Messiah. Don't compare part of your life, compare your whole life. That's a really, really big one. Don't compare part of your life, compare your whole life. So this is something that I have to check myself on all the time. So for example, if I look on social media and I see someone whose content really took off and they're shredded and they're in shape and they're good at high rocks and they're fast and they're fit, Sometimes it's, why aren't I there? Why aren't I that? Why aren't I like that? Why aren't I that fit? Why aren't I that fast? Why aren't I that lean? Why aren't I that? Why isn't my social media blown up? Why isn't this doing that? And then you look and go, would they swap lives with them? And I guarantee 99.9% of people watching this video would not compare their life with anyone else. Because yes, the social media might be blown up and you might be in shape, but then on the other end of the spectrum, again, this is not me pulling anyone down, but they might not have the best relationships, they might have not the best family, they might not have the best upbringing, they might have insecurity, they might have eating disorders, whatever it is. You don't want all that. You're just looking at the thing that you think you want. So compare all of your life, not part of your life. And again, this is where I'm really, really trying to get deep into journaling and what I do, is because I'm very, very grateful for the life that I have. I've got a really good family life. I've got a really good friendship, really good health. I've got a really good fiance. I've got a daughter on the way. I've got a nice house that I can afford. I've got a nice car on the drive. I've got a good business full of clients who I love to work with. I've got opportunities left, right and centre. I'm able to do stuff like this as my job. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But there's still some parts of me that really get pulled down with why aren't I good enough and why aren't I moving as fast as I should do, and all the sort of normalities of it might be imposter syndrome, comparison, whatever. So sometimes you've got to reflect on that a little bit more. And I think, as I said to you at the very, very start, is that if you focus on personal development, I think sometimes you can dig a little bit too deep. So I should be, realistically, based on life, based on the population, where I'm at in my life, I should be very, very happy and content with what I've got. No doubt. Like, people would swap places with that any day. A lot of people from where they're at. Again, different countries, other parts of the world, whatever. So why do I still feel like that? Something's pondering. So that's something I'm really, really digging into this year, definitely, especially before the baby comes. I want to make sure that I'm as good as I can be so I can be the best dad to her. And that's all that matters. And as I said in that point, that's all that matters. People around you, in your small circle, feeding you, financing you, fucking you, or even number 4, fulfilling you. If they fulfill you, if they're part of your life, if they're not relationship, if not friend, but they're part of your life and you love them, that's all that matters. So take the opinion of them. A little bit of a different one, a little bit of a deep one for a Monday. Is it Monday? Yes. But I thought I would expand on that, and hopefully there's some nuggets from it. If it has, I would really love to know. Put it in the comments if you have found anything useful from that. We can expand on it. I love talking about this stuff. And also, drop this video a like. I would love to get to, the goal is 1,000 subscribers. That's the next goal. Just hit 250, so thank you to everyone who's new. 1,000 subscribers is definitely the next goal. Let's do it together.